A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out my friend too.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Welcome everybody to the show. My name is George Bukwena. I'm your host. This is the Overthinking Football Show. We are still in AFCON time, so that's why we're starting at 7 o'clock. And of course, we are following some games, man. Guinea is playing Senegal, and Cameroon is playing in the other game, hoping that Senegal can do them a favor in this game and they can win their game. Or else they'll find themselves knocked out. Like a couple of countries have been knocked out, Bokana. A couple of countries have been knocked out in this tournament so far. So let's see how these last few days pans out. And also we'll be following it with our little AFCON update screen here. I am watching the Senegal-Guinea game. Okay, guys, just remember that you have to be following me in order to join the panels. The panels are where the voices on the show come from, where you hear them. Whenever you watch the show and you hear people talking, they're called panels. I open it up during the show to allow you guys to jump in and interact with me. Those panels are only on TikTok. You have to be following me on TikTok. Join me while I'm live on TikTok. Then you can add your voice to the show. The show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. during AFCON. And then Fridays at 12:30. 12:30 is the breadwinner show. My breadwinners, the people who contribute towards the show financially, get to have their own show where they pick the topic and they have the discussions with minimal interaction with me while you guys can watch. We do have a WhatsApp group, which is very incredible. That's where they all live. That's where we speak more than anything without having 2-hour gaps and 2-hour limits. So if you are keen on joining the WhatsApp group and contributing towards the channel, head on over to YouTube, subscribe, then click on join. 20 Rand a month is the cheapest one, and you are able to access me and access the other WhatsApp group members 24 hours a day where we speak football. And for those and for those who may be thinking,
footballer, my sister, what a waste. Oh, bye-bye.
Just watch the show. You're gonna love it. So today's topic is very simple. Another discussion that came from the group where we were having very deep conversations that side. We're talking about the greatest of all time. And we wanted to speak about it away from Messi, Ronaldo. Wanted to speak about it in the context of South African football. Who is the greatest football player, South African football player of all time, and why? We had a very spirited debate in the group. So I want to open the doors and allow you guys in so that we can have this conversation as well. The format of tonight is going to be very simple. I'm going to try to get 3 panels in, and I'm going to ask you for your top 5. And then I'm going to ask, who are your top 5? Who number 1 wako? Why who number 1 wako? How number 1? Explain a little bit about that. And then I'll ask one more question to each panel that will change with each panel to do with, man, when we speak about GOAT conversations and where we look at these things this side. We had a very deep conversation between 2 players specifically. And I don't want to say the 2 players. I want to hear from you guys. Then later on, I'll just do a little poll. And we'll vote and see how we feel about what has been said by the guys in the group. Maluma Kuto says in the comments on TikTok, you finally get to see the intro. Yeah, the intro. Awesome, Tabi. Welcome. Babam Teto in the house. Babam Teto yesterday. Yeah, Nina. You don't watch, guys. You don't watch. Thank you so much for the gift. Let's see. What country is this? Says Nonkosi. This is Senegal and Guinea. Guinea's on the left-hand side, on this side of the flag. That's Guinea. That's Senegal. Mlunga has jumped straight in and said Penny. But it's fine, guys. Since today is going to be a lot of discussion, I'm going to open it up. Please remember, you have to be following me in order to jump in and join the panels. We're going to go straight into panel number 1. Guys, request, jump in, and let's have a conversation. Remember, I'm going to need your top 5, and then your top 1, your GOAT Oako. You have to just explain a little bit as to why. Then we can have that discussion there. So let's see who is here so that we can start off this conversation about the GOAT. Who the GOAT is, Let's see what's happening on the other platforms. Khomotsi, how are you? We are in. Shabari countdown. Let's see, not up on game. Okay, so let's see. Theo, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. OT?
Mina ngiright, man ngiright. Naile ndaba besikhuluma egroupini. Naile ndaba.
And ngibona nalo munye sikala mathukana.
Oh, So tell me, Theo, look for us straight. Okay, top 5 up.
Yeah. Yazi, let me greet you. Let me greet the guy on the panel, not guys, the guy. Let me greet the guys in my comment section. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting topic, guys. But first and foremost, I want to just say, we love South Africa. I think everyone can agree with me, Mangiti. We have had great players. We still have great players, and we are going to have great players even in the future. Let me give you my top 5, Mr. Oti, without wasting time. Number one. Okay, let me start from top 5. Number 5.
Yeah, number 5.
I would say, number 5, Shoes Musheo.
Yeah, Shoes Musheo. Okay.
Shoes Musheo, number 5. Then number 4.
Wait. Since in Bonaventure, Bayasabugena, I'm going to ask you to just explain a little bit. Why Shoes Musheo? For those who don't know him.
Like guys, good Chiefs, good South Africa. You know, he was one of the greatest players. May he so rest in peace. He was one of the great players that we have ever had.
One of the oldest players we've ever had too.
Yeah. No, nabono mvete bebakhona bakuka baphambili, but yeah, naye siyabonga ukuba wakhe, but yeah, man, he was scoring scorcher goals, creativity, the skill, compliments Thabo Moki. Yeah, so for me, I would say that is my reason for him. Then number 4, I would say Sibusiso Zuma, guys. Our room, my daughter, Sibusiso Zuma. Man, that guy conquered abroad, guys. They even have a statue of him abroad. There's a reason why they have a statue of him. It's not just a fun fact. He was the greatest player that side. Bafana. He was scoring goals. I think he was one of the most important players. Bafana for me. Then number 3. Number 3, guys, are obvious. Benny McCarthy. The Champions League. The only player who win the Champions League.
Okay.
The only player who South Africa who win the Champions League. He represented us to Porto. Everywhere. He's now representing us to Man United. And yeah. Number 2, undoubtedly, on demand, guys. To be honest with you, people are gonna come for my head, but it's fine. I would just say // guys. Tembazwane Tekomodi say they are my number
2. Hey, // I'm full of // I'm full of
Okay, if I'm // I would say Tembazwane number 3, Teko number 2, Benny McCarthy number 4, bese keeper Shoes Zuma, right? Then obviously, guys, the number 1 is undoubtedly, guys, 16V, the best player that South Africa has ever produced, the best player that Chiefs has ever produced. It is lucky retired Bafana. It is lucky retired Kaizer Chiefs. He has been the most underrated midfielder we've ever had. A deep 6, got the Konuk attack, Koramakoli, when Zabofimon Masinga Baba Itabo, Mark Williams, Bakijima for no reason. We doctor, they were scoring goals. He brought us AFCON. He made us to shine against Argentina, against Brazil. I don't know any player that has done that for me. So yeah, Dr. Kumal is definitely my number 1, undisputed.
Ngatik 70 YouTube la. Ngatik 70 YouTube la. Yeah, got to YouTube later. But it's fine, but it's fine. No one am comments in good batini. I'm gonna come back with my question. Kolani. Kolani, welcome to the show. Nailendam.
Hola, Mr. OT.
Skippan, Kolani, how are you?
Ngimnandi, Mr. OT. Ngibekele ku-panel, comment section. Siphakathi inside.
Ngikufaka ku-depend ke top 5. Starting from 5.
Yeah. From 5. I'd say Roger, the general, for Tumba.
Okay. Manu Fetumba was the South African, but it's fine. Let's go greatest. It's fine. Fetumba, yeah.
Okay. No. Asim keep it because it's not South African.
Okay.
Okay. Asim keep it, Mr. OT. I'm sorry. Asim shy plan. Okay. Ngicela ukufaka surprise.
Ngazili Sundowns, ngazili. Okay, surprise Muriri.
Yeah, surprise. And then ube
Mara, why you surprised? Why you fagu surprise?
Oh, okay. Surprise has won ama leagues in the Sundowns way before Upito and still with Upito. Wadlala kwi final ye Champions League. Although Sasha we final naye. He was I think I'm ngisakhumbula kahle, but he was at some point he was a top 3 kwenye season for player of the season. I had the Matambe White Hart ngisakhumbula kahle. But yeah. Wake up by play of the season. Yes. Play of the season. Players play of the season. Angisawukhumbula unyaka, but yeah. Injalo nje sisaqhubeka sinsanta one.
Back to back.
Yes, back to back.
But anyway, number 4.
And bese kuba Upeni Makati.
Okay.
Yes. Champions League. Siqala ukumbona washa 4 goals against Burkina Faso. South Africa finished second. I think we final AFCON Burkina Faso. And then number 3, the late John Shoes Moshweo.
Okay.
The real number 10. Shoes AFCON played Peshe for many years, and he also what I left some money. I think it was 3, including Fenerbahce. Wabuya went to South Africa. He win trophies for each Chiefs. He was complimenting about Tabomo. I'm not disrespecting Tabomoki, but you can't tell me Umoki is better than John Shoes Moshweo. John Shoes was vital to each Chiefs winning trophies. Yeah, and he played also for Amazulu at the age of 40 years. We have told him Yes. Number 3, ne?
Number 3, say 2, man.
Yes. Number 2. Themba Mshishizwane. Themba Mshishizwane, Mr. OT. As any young player like South Africa would say, who is this idol? Abo Mihlali Manyambela, they doing a celebration Peshe at Thembazwane. Ubuzu Ore from Cote d'Ivoire upon Thembazwane. And so on. And last game, Sundowns. I mean, sorry. Hey, yes, Sundowns, my thought. Last game, Bafana scored a brace. Although angabanga the impact kangako we Sundowns when we won CAF Champions League, but he was part of the group. Young Tottenham Mr. Yeah, so and he's been consistent. Like for the past 5 seasons, he's been nominated for being a player of the season. So yeah, number 2.
Okay. Number 1.
Yeah, number 1. Tsulofelo Teko Matisa.
Okay. Hey, whoa. Hang on. Who dog is next?
Next. I can't say much about it, Doctor. You know why? I haven't watched Ama games out. I'm more than 5 at Dr. Kumalo. So I can't say much. Angisebenzi
10 past 4.
angisebenzi ngomuntu lo kuthiwa hayi waye blind umalume uthi hayi angisebenzi ngabo malume mina. He say who abo he say hayi angisebenzi ngehistory ukuthi kuthiwani ama clips aka YouTube. but I'm sure Mr. Oti platform yakhe inkulu first. I'm not by any way disrespecting the greats. Like mazobuka ama legend first. They speak highly of Dr. Kumalo. So again I'm ngithi first he is a mino. We legend first. So who am I to talk about Dr. Kumalo ngimbeke phansi if evunya abantu abadlalile ibhola ngithola. Even uTakomodise is a role model yakhe. Themba's one role model yakhe. So I'm speaking to a perspective, yeah, Mr. Oti.
Okay. But then why Tiko?
Yes.
Why Tiko's number 1? Why do you put him number 1?
Mr. Oti. Utiko esadlala kwakusayimvela ne?
Oh, City Pillars.
City Pillars. It was a player of the season. Come PSL, player of the season for 2 consecutive times. That's what I'm saying. So the general, and if it wasn't for ama behind the doors issues with Pirates, uteko ngabudlala ngabe wadlala phesheya because like ama videos akhe esho ukuthi even abo Stephen Pinar nabo Benny Makati bambuza ukuthi what are you still doing in South Africa. So and SFX Sundowns he played and I also think he played his best football with Sundowns, although now we Pirates beshisa from a position adidlala with Pirates to his position ayidlala with Sundowns. It shows he was a versatile player, a thinking player, a well organized player, tactically and technically. That's what Mr. Oti. Plus, Uteko he was like he had a dark cloud with Pirates. Uteko with Uteko you can't win anything. My haters wrong.
Okay.
Sundowns. While in the league, while in Netbank, while in Telkom, while in Champions League.
Okay. Okay.
And went from Sundowns to Cape Town City, while in MTN 8. So I hiki kapanga na Uteko, Ela Africa. Even so in Champions League, got that man by the Uteko in the Champions League, on a Super Cup. He played with Club World Cup. And so on. While we need the Sundowns, while we in Netbank, in Telkom, while we in MTN 8. So yeah, Mr. Oti is my vote.
Okay. Suka nje.
We are cruising nicely.
Let me see who's here. Maronza.
Hayi mfana, ugrand.
Ngiright Maronza, la indaba Maronza.
Yabonisa abanye intwana sengivele ngibona ucolana hayi intwana.
Okay, masizwe ke eyaphithini top 5 yakho Maronza.
No man, thanks so much man. I have you know what ne? I know people can will bangangizonda for this, but I'll take Mushishi to number 5. I have my reasons.
Okay.
You know, I think from Black what do you call it, Aces, you know, to Sundowns, you know. So when you look at it, I think that's one Upito, right? Saw something in him, and then later with Sundowns. And I think that is the only team like Aces, yes, surrounded with few players that were not too good, but with Sundowns he raised his hand. So for me, number 5, I think I'll give it to him, to be honest. You know?
Okay.
My reason. That is my only reason for now. I know people will say what, but I think he shine only on Sundowns for me. Aces, no, from Vardos, so Aces to Sundowns, you know. So that is me. You know? Then my number 4. Hey, number 4. I have to go with Itumeleng Khune.
Okay. Itumeleng.
Itumeleng Khune. You know, like, take nothing away. One of the best. You know what? Take nothing away. Opara, Bobanbani. One of the best goalkeepers that South Africa has ever produced is Itumeleng Khune. I'll give it to him. You know, I need to be in the top 5. You know, I think the top 5 cannot be without. He's a drunken master, yes, guys, but take that away. He's the best goalkeeper that we ever produced. Like, you see. He has to be in the top 5. And then my number 3.
Yeah.
I have to go with Theko. You know, I have to go with Theko. He needs to be there. Navigator. I mean, he's one of the best guys who ever played. You know, like Engagambona in a way. You know, one of the best. He shined. You know, I think there was a game when New Orlando Stadium was reopened, and I was there. Yes. I come down. That guy changed the game. That guy scored goals. You know, it was something else. But he has to be there.
Okay.
So my number 2, against Thunder Zulu Royals. Yes, I think there was one time where Usenzo Mayo made a blunder, and then he missed a ball, and then it went through, and then it was 3-3. Then Teko, he carried the team and then scored the last goal, and then that stadium was still besase manzi Orlando Stadium shake. Oh, guys, so Teko, I have to give it to him. Number 3.
Good number 2.
Number 2.
Good number 2. Yeah, good number 2.
Yeah, number 2. I have to give it to Benny Benny McCarthy. One of the best. You know, he came back from Europe after has done everything in Europe, come back to SA, and then he became a player overweight, but he took it, like, you know what, he made Pirates to win a league back to back. You know, that is he was one of the best. You know, from being a player, he went to be a coach. You know, and after being a coach, you know what, he made Amazulu from down there to up there. You know, I don't want to talk about the other team, but from down there to up there, he made Amazulu to be one of the. He threatened Sundowns like hell. You know, that season. So I think Benny McCarthy needs to be there. You know, for whatever he did in Europe, whatever he did in SA when he come back, winning back to back, goes to being coach. I have to put him there.
Masizwe number 1. Masizwe number 1.
Chiefs angithandi bafethu. Chiefs i-rival yami. Hayi ngeke ngibheke neskipper se-Chiefs mangidlule esitora ngisibheki. Angisibheki nokusibheka iskipper se-Chiefs nesi-Sundowns nesobani bheke se-Pirates kuphela. Amara umdokishi bafethu. I calm down bafethu. I come down.
YouTube, Ron, or YouTube, or are you gonna show us your age?
You know what? One time I was it was so spectacular. Mr. Oti, I've been attending stadium ever since. Ngangalahleke Ellis Park. Pirates ne Sundowns. Pirates are winner 1-0. Kupenye intsango hure ngisedumani. Mangiphuma lapha ngalahleka ngawusiza omunye umama. Like, guys, I've been in stadium ngisasebo ma 6, so I've been in stadium ever since. Which is spectacular. When any game, yo, I think it was Pirates versus Chiefs. Yo, guys, umdokishi mina ngibona adlala nobunsunda ngibabonile badlala. I can name all of them. Ngibabonile badlala live. So that is my age. I've been there, guys. I saw that. I've seen Dr. Kumar played. Abu Brendan Silent. I saw them live. So I don't want to. I'm Togish Bafit. I'm Togish star Bafit. Hayi khoto. Mtsetse repa, slender matsapa, slender catalog. Tambe kedlele mina. Hayi. I'm Togish for it. But I have to go with Dr. Kumalo. Dr. Kumalo was a star, bro.
Okay.
You know what? In the list, they can talk of shoes, they can talk of Zwine. If I some Togishi, I am Togishi star of it. Yeah, that is number one for me. That is number one for me. For one reason again, when Brazil come here, Lebazala, when that 3-2 game, I mean that one shook the world after Brazil were number one, were rated number one, with things of the world and all that. When they came here, Dr. Kumalo make them bangathi abantwana abancane. That was Dr. Kumalo. Take nothing away. So my number one hero, Angithandi Chiefs, but I take Slender of it.
Okay. Okay, I'm keeping these names. I'm writing all the names down because I'm going to do a Google form where we can vote. You'll see. Chinga, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
How you doing?
No, I'm good. I want to settle this debate once and for all, my brother.
You know, we all come from different generations, you know, of football and growing up watching football. So the opinions will be different. You know, my top 5 doesn't have a Dr. Kumalo, for example. I'm born in 95.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever watching Dr. Kumalo play. So that's just my honesty, you know. In number 5, I have joined 2 players, and I couldn't go between them. It's Katle Khompela and Dane Clayt. Right?
Okay. Joint. Are you doing 6 players?
Yeah, so those are joint 5 for me because
I'll allow it at the bottom of the list.
Only here. Clayt, for the amount of trophies he won with the different clubs that he won it,
5 league titles in a row.
Exactly. You know, yes, he didn't get the chance at Bafana level, but I think that was just the preference of the coaches at the time. But he was a quality player. From a set piece, he was dangerous. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys. With Kila, I mean, yeah, what more can we say? He was called Kila for a reason, Katle Khompela. He scored amazing goals. What he did to Casillas at the Confederations Cup, who can forget?
Yeah.
He was one of those guys who could rely on for goals, you know, at any level. Number 4 was Tico at Tico, Pirates version. I think that's one player we can maybe all agree with. The things that he did, 2-time PSL Footballer of the Year in a row, the way that he commanded the game at the time. You know, I'm a Pirates fan. We weren't winning, but it was a joy to watch him play. In number 3, I have Aaron Mokoena, I have Mbazo, most capped player in Bafana. The guy, yes, I have Mbazo. We can say a lot about the ability, you know, or what he's done, or the mistakes that he's made. But there's a reason why he played 111 or 12 times for Bafana. There's a reason why he played for these clubs that he played at. You know what I mean? He might end up being a South African favorite because of the type of players that we liked. But there is a reason why he played at that level for so long. So for me, just on that, based on longevity and the clubs that he played at, the level he played at for so many years, Mbazo makes my top 3. Right? Number 2 is Steven Pienaar. Right? Steven Pienaar, Skilo. Yeah, in the 2010s, I mean, Skilo at Everton was just something else. He's an Everton legend. Dortmund, you know, Ajax, that man really, he could play football. He proved at any level, everywhere he went, that he was a star. He wasn't just that's Bafana's number 10. So Skilo for me, number 2. And then number 1 for me is Benny. Yeah, we can debate, we can say what, but Benny, only Champions League winner. That just says the level that he was at. I'm not saying the PSL is a bad level, but we need to understand there's levels to this. And that's the highest level we can achieve in club football. And he was not just playing, he didn't stand on the bench. He was an integral part of Jose Mourinho's side. You know, who can forget at Old Trafford what he did? So we can't forget what Benny did, the type of play he was. Even when he came back to Orlando Pirates, and scored, screamers that we don't see much of those type of goals even today to prove the man's technique. The man, even
Bafana's
at
top goal
Bafana level,
scorer.
Bafana's top scorer. He's everything for me. If you talk about South African football, you need to talk about Penny McCarthy at number one. But that's my top 5. I know I can see in the list. I can see in the list that the Mbazo and is killing people. I knew it would. I knew it would. I knew it would. As you can see in the chat, I knew it would. But for me, just what he's done, the achievements, and we can't shy away.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my top 5.
Okay. There we go, guys. There we go. Bazo's in. Bazo's in. Lyric, guys. Lyric. But anyway, let me move on to Malume Kutso. Malume Kutso. Kutla mabitso, man. Kutla mabitso mangata.
I mean, I'm heartbroken, Mr. OT. Hey, one of my favorite rappers, KO. There's a song where he says, "Ngiyinkinga shuffle mwana wathwenya stala sami siyavisa Aaron Mokwena." Like, and that's your goat. Emona, regular record in South Africans, Ratswa first round. Yeah, Rinsoki Aaron Mokwena, Arubetsi, Bo Kanakibang, that Mexican guy, getting in and scoring. Aaron Mokwena was sleeping and said, "Referee, he's offside." We were like, "Aaron, you're also a player. That's why he's onside, because you can see you're offside." So my face,
Hey, Bara, you can.
Opinions are opinions. So, Mina, I'm very different from everyone else.
Okay.
I respect Samakrotman, Mr. Uti. Ipola Ipola Gatil corner, Mr. Uti, and we have to give props to those who came before us, because we risk also having this moment being extinct from history, being removed from history books. Remember, we might be living in the present, but the present will not always be the present. One day the present is the past. And I think that should be respected. And there are many ways of watching the game. People don't understand. You can watch it through YouTube. You can watch it live. And you can watch it straight now, and you can visualize it and see it. You understand? So for me, my top 5 will be tainted from everyone else. There's different interpretations of football, and I can see there's an appreciation of a specific type of football. My number 5 has not appeared on anyone's list, but Sean Bartlett.
Okay.
Sean Bartlett, for the longest time, made a huge contribution to the country. One of the best strikers we've ever had. Shy Kanda, I understand. So his type of football is not one that a South African would talk about, but it was beautiful. It delivered goals. If you look at the number of goals that he has scored, and when he retired, and when you check Uti, no one has eclipsed it. Even our favorite players who have played, I don't know how many games, some of them undeserving, and they've still failed to eclipse what he has contributed. So I think we need to put some respect on people like Sean Bartlett. So I'll put Bartlett at number 5. My number 4, another Grootman there. I'm going with Lucas Radebe.
Okay.
When Amazwe Akbabaza, Mr. OT, when they make you that legend, Mr. OT, it's a lot. It's not easy. It's not easy when you're not only of a certain race, but also of a certain skin tone, for people to appreciate you, for you to break those hearts into pieces, and they just fall in love with you to a point where they even immortalize you, Mr. Oti. It's not simple. You don't just wake up and do that. It's through hard work. It's through dedication. It's through real talent. It's through real contribution to football. It's through humility. And we see that Kahrotman Lucas Radebe, Mr. Oti. It's not someone who it's someone who did it consistently. And when they tell you what he had offers from Alex Ferguson with Man United and chose to stay, it's a stamp which he was not only playing for Leeds because he was an average player, but other teams also wanted him, and he was there. You understand? Kumo, it's not PSL, it's all-time South Africans. But You understand? So to show the level that he was at. And there's a clip of him where I think the goalkeeper is injured or goalkeeper is hit. For some odd reason, the goalkeeper is not there. And he steps up, Mr. OT, and he goes for it, Mr. OT. Like a very good keeper, Mr. OT. Like I remember maybe Kuluma Veli, he was a goalkeeper, I can see. He has those fairy tale stories with the about Tolang, and that's when they took him. You understand? So I would go for Ulukas Khatebe at number 4.
Okay.
At number 3, Mr. OT, another world perspective, not just a PSL perspective, but this player comes to the PSL and still shows OT he is a class above the rest, Mr. OT. And not just a class, I'm lying. He's classes above the rest. And I'm talking about Penny McCarthy, Mr. OT. Surprise, surprise, he's at number 3. Champions League winner, Mr. OT.
Treble winner,
Mr. OT. He comes here, fat as fuck. Big, you understand? And I think people will not understand how fat he was until they watch the game against Namibia where he scored 4 goals. You're like, you understand? And then he comes in, Shama Kolu Penny McCarthy. Mr. Uchi Penny McCarthy today remains all-time leading goal scorer Bafana. You understand? Penny McCarthy, Mr. Uchi, even la UPSL, like he remains a revolutionary player. You know, we see stars about Mo Salah, Samuel Eto'o, about Drogba. We actually do have that in our backyard, and that is Penny McCarthy. Mr. Uchi, how many people can just quit a job with Amazul and suddenly wake up, go Man United? And Gungaliwa, Mr. Oti. It's because they knew. Against Man United, where Shai Caesar's kick, Mr. Chokora Tuko. And people don't know, there's actually a game where it's Man United versus FC Porto. 2 of the biggest teams in the world, or 2 of some of the biggest teams in the world. And on the score sheet, I think the score at the end of the game is 2-1. It's Penny McCarthy getting a brace and Quintin Fortune scoring for Man United. Landmark, like, that's where you see how far South African football has fallen. You understand the way? It was not like celebrate Lily Bentley. People used to play for cream of the crop, Mr. Oti. So for me, I'll give it to Penny McCarthy, UEFA Champions League. I think second leading goal scorer just behind Didier Drogba.
Cristiano, Didier Drogba, and then Cristiano was third.
Cristiano was behind Penny McCarthy, Mr. Oti. So, and Penny McCarthy was playing for Blackburn, and I think there's the story which he should have actually went to Chelsea, which is why he gained weight, because Blackburn broke the kind of gentleman's agreement when they saw Gutuya Shisa, and they so the story is that he comes to Blackburn as a gateway to Chelsea because he has a relationship with Mourinho, and then he has a wonderful season with Blackburn, magical season. Second top goal scorer, as we've said. And then Blackburn are like, we want our money. We're not just going to let you go, Ganjalo. Which is then he fell to Ammerberger and he was like, it's fine. So I'll give it to Upeni.
Okay.
At number 2, Mr. Oti, ezinye izinto singazi-argue siyelena le amara mo ibheke into Mr. Oti nawe uyayibona. Nawe uyayibona. 16 Vulavala. Dokotela DOC.
Wait. Number 2.
Number 2, Mr. Oti.
Okay.
Dokotela DOC. I told you I respect the man. 16 valves, 16 Vulavala. Mr. Oti, when you watch ama highlights, and I repeat, when you watch ama highlights, we bafana. Not our doctor. When you watch our highlights, our glory days, it looks like a Dr. Kumalo package. He is legit involved in everything. Like, don't search Dr. Kumalo. Search Bafana. You understand? Puma with Dr. Search, you will see what yo. Le out here, she's hama corner kick our Gusbuisa, Hama Williams, hama interception, Lomuntu Yamaka, Oshama pass, hama goal of Masinga, Huya foot, hama goal of Brazil. He's scoring, he's creating. It's against Germany. Oshapadi Shibobo, Mr. Oti, he plays the interpretation Ekasi football. He's artistic like that. As more pay into an Ekas, Mr. Oti's stronger. you can see which this is an expression, this is an art. Lo muntu akagqokanga kuphela. Oh, he's putting across a point of how he feels. And I feel like every time I watch those inserts, those clips aka Dr. Khumalo, ngibona umuntu ozi-expressayo, you understand? Or expressa nami lento engiyifila ngaphakathi, you understand? Ngathi ngayenza lento. Some players mebedlala now yazi imagine ukuthi yazi kube bathi ngo-Dr. Khumalo kube yimo yenza zonke lezi zinto le. So I would put uDoctor at number 2.
Okay. And here comes number 1.
Drum roll. And I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint everyone with number 1. But everyone will agree. For number 1, Mr. Uti, khona linye time ekaSlam bathi uTafana, Mr. Uti. uTafana is a chief supporter through and through. Ilama time avela clever, Mr. Uti. Like I just want to give you a picture. Lama time ashama kepis na masek zone. Hlala kuhamba lela time Mr. Uti. Nyakudlule lingakufaka ngefrustanyana likubonisa ukuthi kenzakalani. That's uTafana. Tafana, Mr. Uti, he cries when he talks about Ujomoson. He cries tears, and he calls him Kenyatta. He cries. He tells me the stories which ngathi bekadlala ngathi ubophelele ibhola la eqakaleni. He tells me ukuthi at some point, you see, this is why we don't understand ukuthi Pirates will retire kanjani ijezi le lona number 10. There's a game, Mr. Oti, and I'm sure everyone knows the story, but I'm just gonna tell you. Oti, Pirates yadlala, Mr. Oti, iyadliwa. This guy is getting married, Mr.
Where is he?
He is getting married. He looks at his wife. Even his wife tells the story with, baby, I know I love you. You know I love you. But it's him yadliwa. So he shows he love. Mr. Oti. Number 10, but they've never shown that level of love. To say, I'm going to risk, we know how ladies are. I'm going to risk my family, Mr. Oti. You understand? I'm going to risk everything I have for this team. He comes running, Mr. Oti, and guess what? He arrives with 2-0, a game, liphela with 3-2. That's legend, Mr. Oti. That's Shakes, Tsubasa, Pelezino level. You understand? The super strikers. That's something you write. Well, I don't know, Transformers. That's not normal, Mr. Uti. Which ungafika wena second half namachita hlanye, Mr. Uti, with ufikile uchomo siyabalanda manje. So I feel in this conversation we have to put some respect on Amakrotman. I thought Umaronza would come in and do it, but because he's not doing it, I'm going to do it for Amakrotman and say, number 1, King Chomosono, the only South African with the soccer boots. Number 1, Chomosono. Number 2, 16 Velf. Number 3, Penny McCarthy. Number 4, Lucas Khatebe. Number 5, Sean Bartlett. And then, can I just say, there's someone hovering there in someone's ovaries, in someone's testicles. He is not born as yet. I cannot suddenly say he is the GOAT. He might maybe become the GOAT, but he has not done it as yet. You understand? So for me to even count about Tembazwana, who are not even done with their playing career, we might be saying he scored 2 goals against Namibia. I'm hoping he scored 4 goals against Namibia. You understand? And I'm not dimming his lights or good performance against Namibia. But what I'm saying is, life is so cruel, Mr. Oti. Against Tunisia, how we gonna base a legendary status? If someone goes in and breaks his leg tomorrow, let him achieve it. Maybe win a couple of things for the country, or I don't know, become a legend, and then I will say Tembazwane belongs in the top 5. But for now, he's an entertaining player. He's one of the best I've watched. But to put him in the all-time, and Mr. Oti, I just want to say, Kona lento le South Africa that I'm sorry I'm taking too much time. But in South Africa, there's a problem of how we analyze certain players. Our authorities are killing us. I've seen a player of the season on so many occasions be influenced by a specific coach. You need someone to put you in there. No matter how much you're performing, I've seen certain coaches campaign for players. I've seen Usmiso Vilakazi win player of the season in the last 5 games of the season because a certain coach put the spotlight on him. Last season, he was a great player. You see, sometimes a player can perform very well, but there's a player who outperforms him. I saw last season Ulona, and then I'll answer you. I saw
For time, yeah, just for time there, Malume Kutu, for time.
I saw Usaleng put in a great shift the entire season, but Gavin Hunt endorsed Umukwene. I know why Tembazwane is in this conversation. He was endorsed by Clive Parker. And by the way, Tembazwane did not contribute to Sundowns' Champions League. He was a side player. It's fine.
Okay. Let me go to Agent. Hey, I let Malume Kuto speak a little bit because I know how deeply felt about this one. How are you, my brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Me, I'm fine. Me, I'm okay. I want to hear what people's views are. Here, tell me, what's your top 5?
Can I ask one question, eh? Are you saying my goat, eh? You're saying my goat, eh? Mine,
your goat,
like
your goat.
Mine, eh? So mine, eh?
This sounds like a disclaimer. This sounds like a disclaimer. This sounds like a disclaimer.
No, you're saying mine. I just wanted to make sure.
It's your goat. It's your goat.
You know, I keep saying and I keep telling with you and others that opinions, I like the buttocks. Everyone has them. Some are smaller than others, but still the buttocks. So we shouldn't attack people who say Mambazo and Nil Tovi and Uva and everybody's. Is that goat? Is that small opinion? It's okay. It's fine. You know, but let me start by this and say I want to put honorary mention to Jomosono.
Yeah.
No, I'm just listen. I'm not putting them in my top 5.
No, honorary. Straight into top 5.
No,
stop trying to give them soft landings. You started with a disclaimer.
No, the thing is,
now you're putting it.
The thing is, listen. The thing is, right? When I tell my kids about Barcelona, I'll tell them that these guys could play the ball 90 minutes without the team touching it. I'll tell them that Ronaldo could fly in the air. I'll tell them Messi could move people with his mind. So I don't want to rely on man, because but I want to appreciate the legends, you know, and in those legends, I'm putting someone as Ozwani that I won't put in my top 5.
Okay.
You know, but they deserve a mention, you know, for the longevity that he has had. So Osono, Radebe, Sheiks Kunani, and Old John. Those are guys that I just want to mention out there, just putting them out there.
Okay.
But my number 5, let me start. My number 5. My number 5. You know, my Marabastar's finest. Marabastar's finest. Zayn Musa.
Okay.
You know, I love flair, you know, hence when people talk of Messi and Ronaldo, I talk of Ronaldinho. So I'm a flair guy. And I like
I agree with you.
You know, I like, you know, it's not just entertainment, it's also entertainment with purpose, you know. So hence for me, I'm going to put Zayn there, you know. That's my number 5. And then my number 4, John Shuis Mushu. I think the guys have talked about him. I won't go much into him. My number 3 is Bella Nomvete, you know. I think Mr. Perfect Teeth, ever smiling. A prolific striker of note.
Scoring with the pumpkin.
Yeah, a man who could score with everything, you know, and given his size and everything, you know, and there's longevity also. People who talk of Zwane with longevity. There was a Bella Nonvet before Zwane in terms of longevity, you know. So I'm gonna put Bella Nonvet there as my number 3. Number 2, Benny McCarthy. You know, I think the guys have spoken much about Benny. You know, I'm not gonna be long because of time. So
Zing.
My number 1.
Zing.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No jokes. But my number 1, I think it was a close call between him and Obane for me. But I'm gonna give him because of his crown jewels, eh? His crown jewels produced another star, eh? I think that's the only difference between him and Bane, eh? This one has produced another star. So
we're rating kids now. We're rating
I think we're saying the best. But for me, Daniel Mambushmuta is my number one, is my GOAT. Obviously because of it's a biased one, you know.
I was gonna say, wait, just tell people what you support.
It's my own opinion, it's my team. So obviously I'm gonna rely on someone that I enjoyed talking, I watched and everything like that. So he scored goals. I think he's still Sundowns leading to goal scorer. And hey, unlike others who were there in AFCON 1996 and you talk about what he scored, he actually scored, but it's fine, I'm not gonna go there. He scored. So, and loyalty is a very expensive thing, eh? Some will go there, fail in in States and come back and shine in Chiefs, but he was able to stay on one club, so it's Mr. Longevity and Mr. Loyalty for me. So yeah, I think he's my GOAT.
I wanna go to Theo. Just to ask you a question. How much of this man? Okay. Let me ask two questions. Number one, can a player from a small team ever be GOAT? Because I'm seeing the names here, and the names here come from a certain caliber of club, come from a certain caliber of, even when they go overseas, certain caliber. Can you be the GOAT when you're coming from a smaller team? Number one, and then number two, to add on to the first question. Yazi abanye abantu bashayina ngale ndaba yokuthi babuya from certain teams. Itori zabo carry more weight because you know we are from a certain team. How much does that play into these things, do you think?
First and foremost, Mr. Oti, as I said before, in order to be the best, we need to compete with the best. If nangabe we want to prove ukuthi uShabalala, for an example, is a star, uma simekisa under 23, we do not expect ukuthi uMfukeng angabi khona. We expect uMfukeng to be there to challenge him, to compete with him. If you put that aside, then you're gonna say he's a star. But the question is, utesto ubani kuphi yabo? Not just in a team, your opponents. I mean, in your same team. Yeah, but the competition is needed. So if nangabe, I'm gonna say to you, no. You can get a GOAT from a lower team, I'll be lying to you, but you can have stars, great players from lower teams. But Utologuti, you know, when they go to big teams, they cannot handle the pressure. But first and foremost, it's very important to acknowledge Uguti. In order to be the best, you need to compete with the best. You look at guys like about Dr. Kumalo, guys, you know, all the best, Mas Babala. I mean, I personally believe that internationally is a big stage, Mr. Oti. You compete there, you do things there. At club level, it follows suit after that. Players that have done great for their clubs, but their countries don't remember them. That does not mean that they are not the best, but it simply means that they never outshine themselves in a way that they were expected to. Got your question, Betsini?
Late story, because you know when we listen to these stories, for example, I'm just going to use a random example. Tekili Taba was top goal scorer at some point, right? Nobody would mention Tekili Taba. Maybe a player from a play cases that were getting married. Baza say we play aces, maybe we play pool, but Puma say, but we don't know them because they're not parents. How much do the stories and those things play into Maskulman Alavant?
First and foremost, football is about memories, guys. Certain things we're not gonna watch them. Look, you cannot compare Skatsa look and match. I was telling those who were saying Dr. Simbona go Facebook, I mean go YouTube and there's no way you listen to guys from Brazil talking about doctor and say, nah, they're just talking for fun. There's no way you can listen to people abroad mentioning, every time when they talk about South Africa, they cannot stop mentioning Penny McCarthy, or Dr. Kumalo, or Stephen Pinari. If that's happening, it shows good he has done something there in order for him to be recognized. So to answer your question, I would say it's a tough one, Mr. Oti, in a sense that you know, stories are everything. Namanje siphuma apartheid. There are stories that we have been told. We were not apartheid. Why didn't we acknowledge apartheid? If nangabe we were not there, but we do believe ukuthi abomkhulu bethu bebashaywa balunywa ngezinja, but we were not there. But we still believe in that. So I feel like it's kinda, I would say it's a kind of feel like a cliche mindset that says I don't want to view what was happening in the past. I'm only gonna focus on now. Look at Messi. There would be no Messi without Maradona, guys. Those who don't know, there would be no Messi without Maradona. Don't get that twisted. Messi's real idol is Maradona. So Messi, was he watching clips? Obviously, was he watching Maradona on the field? Where was he? He was watching clips. So that alone tells you, those clips, they play a very important part to where we are going. Even namanje, I'm gonna tell my child, I was watching a game in Senegal. That's a story. If I don't tell that story, my child is not gonna come and stay here today and watch this game. So I would say it plays a very big role to what we need to be. Even the sad part is, you go to America, to England, Mr. OT, you listen to about Paul Scholes, you listen to about Gibbs, you listen to that Manchester history, there's no way they grew in the same town. Those are stories. You were not there. You cannot attest to that.
But
that's
then,
my problem.
but
So
then
yeah, stories are a
doesn't-
big part.
But then doesn't that hurt some players? Because, you know, I said this about coaches at the beginning of the season. If I watch your clips and your clips are amazing, your YouTube, I want a compilation like YouTube, but I watch Uthio, and Uthio maybe has 30 games that I've watched. And Theo's got 20 good games, like 20 good games. But then, because I've watched all 13, that were lacking, does it become a bit unfair to rely on the clips? Because I don't know about the games when Udokta was bad. You know, where the games where Udokta was really bad. Substitute. Would that change my mind if I knew more of those things? Whereas when I look at like Utemba Zwane, for example, I can picture some of the games where he wasn't playing, or he wasn't on par, or he missed Tamakule earlier in the season this year. Does that make it unfair for the others?
PR, Mr. Oti, you always talk about PR. I feel like they've outdone themselves in certain elements where our players, they are seemingly like as if like they never made mistakes. So I would say it's unfair. I would be biased on this one and say it's unfair. We watch him now. You know, we see every moment. They even took him out. You saw a good year, you fled. And then you watch the game against Namibia, you're like, wow, Tembazwane was one high, Nani. But you cannot go back and look at the AFCON 1996 and say, you talk to Kumala Ngimbonang against what team? Sadly, also it comes within this thing, you would see the players that about Doctor they were playing with and the players that Tembazwane is playing with, different elements. But at the end of the day, I believe everyone is entitled to their opinion, but also to answer that question straightforward, it's unfair. It's very much unfair that we have to watch Messi right now and have to compare him to Maradona, whereas I've never watched Maradona. I've only seen clips. And now my clips are clips at cliche. I was checking on my World Cup as Argentina. I didn't even see what Maradona did in the World Cup, the Argentina, but I saw what Messi did in this World Cup. So it will give me a mindset that he's better, really. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. It's unfair.
Agent, you know, if we stopped Tembazwane's career and I put together as a compilation where I'm like, you know what, Hugo Bruce is saying, if Temba doesn't play, the country doesn't play. I put together the clips of him maybe lifting trophies, Gadi medal. I put together, you know, remember that Shibobo where that guy, he Ashapaka Tokopat. Would it change how we view Tembazwane? Do you think that these memories, the clips and things like that also hurt some players that maybe we watch a bit more, as the first question? And then the second question, can a GOAT come from a small team?
You know, let me start with the last one. I think so, you know, it's just that it's difficult to make one because obviously of things like PR and stuff like always come into the picture, you know. So, you know, we've had great defenders. Like I would personally rate Paulos Masehe above Bazo,
Mm,
personally
mm,
speaking, but
mm,
who's there to say for him unless you have Free State natives,
mm.
Hence, for me, I could relate with Uzain Musa than other people would, because he born and bred Sundowns, So, you're studying. You're studying. You see these people, but it's fine. Let me not go there. Let me not go there. But I stopped trusting YouTube clips with Anthony. You see Anthony at United. That's when I stopped trusting clips.
Yeah, yeah.
You see him at Ajax, doing that girl's what is that trap that girl did in
That
women's Champions
spin.
League?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not the spin, the trap, that led to
Oh,
the
yeah,
goal.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you see, he was doing it for fun, eh? And then
Uh.
this spin and everything, I'm like, hey, United got a player here, can't they? You know. And I think it goes back to, like you're saying, storytelling. When people remember Kune, they will remember Spain and Brazil, but in between there, is he better than Hans Fonk? Can I come back? Am I having it?
Okay, it's fine. Maronza, let me come to you, Maronza. Mina ngati late or lazy man. Sometimes push a player because maybe there's players that have done better, but they don't have the stories around them. Can a small team player become the GOAT? Will it be possible? And then number two, kana kitse the stories man. Mina ngizwa late story man Maronza. And I'm like, I'm sure maybe with Conor Tori, a lot of other ones, but we don't know them. How much do those play into what we think about these players, especially the older ones?
You know what? I think sometimes hence I didn't put Jomo. I didn't put him because I never saw him played. And respect to whoever said, I think it was Agent who said talked about Jomo.
Oh, Kutso, Malume Kutso.
So take nothing away because that is his own opinion. But the lava Minengba mentioning the 5 that I mentioned is what I saw, like live on Mabaleng, not manga stories and all that. I saw them play. So that is my opinion. And come to somebody to be a GOAT from a small team. You know what? It is Gunzema because you have to carry the team. Let's take Royal AM for now. Let's talk Royal AM for now and take a player like Tembazwane, for example, and we take him to Royal AM and say, you see they are struggling. Go inside there, take them up there. It has to take you that power to carry a team, have a character, have everything for you to do that. So it's not easy. It's not easy. Hence, you see, it can take another 10 years for a small team to produce a player of the season.
But then, Maronza, are we being unfair? Because we could say that the smaller team guy must carry the team, but could you also make the argument that Tambazwani plays with 51 million rand players around him? Can we argue that maybe it might be a little bit easier for a star in a star team? Dr. Kumalo was incredible with Bafana, but it's Bafana that had Abo Masinga, I think Abo Khatebe were there, Abo Tove, Abo Zbanban, all big players. Is it not a little bit unfair then to say that if I want to win as a smaller player, I must carry the team?
You know what? The thing is, let's take how we judge, especially the broadcasting and all that, how they write the story, the newspapers and all those. They play a very big role. I think the newspapers, because it's a business, for example, let me take them. Sometimes they won't even write about maybe who never die from Swahilus, right? Window there. They will never write about him because he's there at Swahilus. But they can write about Kune. So these things play a huge role. It's the same as broadcasting Pirates. Where did you ever see Pirates not being broadcast? Whether they're playing Tuesday, whether they're playing Wednesday, whether they're playing 1 o'clock, whether they're playing 12 o'clock, they will be broadcast.
Okay.
Chiefs, they will be broadcast.
Yeah.
So if you look at those things, it is not fair. It is not fair through the media, through the broadcasting, through the everything. It is unfair to the small teams because the team has to raise its hand. The players need to raise their hand for the journalists to follow them to see what are they doing. You understand?
Okay,
So
okay.
there's so many things that they're playing the role is playing a role when it comes to this thing. Come look at let's be honest. Saleng was player of the season. All of us we said I ngeke noma bangathini, but look what happened. It is because of the coaches, because of Sundowns won this, blah blah blah. The coaches took that and then they give it to Mkwena. I'm not, I'm just giving you something to say it's unfair in all angles. It is unfair.
No.
So it's not to say I would say I'm a player, they're not there. At Royal AM, they're good players, but how is the team running? Are they running the team as quality as Pirates? Are they running the team as Sundowns? So you see, even the management themselves, they're not running the team as professional as they can. You understand me? So there's so many things that play the role in this one.
For time's sake, Marons, I'm gonna jump in. KG Kumo, Tebogo and Talk, get ready to jump in, I'm gonna let me go to agent, finish your point. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go to Tolan.
Yeah, you can cheat me, eh? You can cheat Uti, you can cheat Kumo, you can cheat Kuto, but you can't cheat time, eh? Can't cheat time. You can never cheat time, eh? I think time is exposing that whoever chose player of the season last year was the best. Eh?
No,
Yeah,
your
so
beefs, no beef, guys. They're just cheeky, the
so
man.
I think I'll buy a free rubbing stuff for people. It's fine. I don't mind doing that. But back to your question, I just wanted to say, like, for me, I still rate Hans Fonk more than Ukune. But Hans Fonk won't do the crazy dives and shouting and passes and but because Kune has that, we're gonna read Kune more, And when people think of Hans Fonk because he doesn't do the crazy stuff, it's difficult for you to pinpoint a game for him, But with Kune, you're gonna say, Spain, Brazil, And I hate the perspective that when a person goes abroad, blah blah blah. Some went to abroad, they went to USA, but what did they do? They didn't do anything, So I think it's a biased opinion, and like I said, sometimes I hear stories of Bafana playing against Nigeria. They'll tell you, hey, when you see the ball, you see an eagle coming, you see a snake, so relying on such people is going to be difficult to base our assumptions on. So yeah, but I think PR and everything is everything. Kumo, I take after you, man. I take after you.
Let me go to Kolani. Very quickly, when Malume Kusa, just to finish off. Two things. Can a small team player be the GOAT? Number one. And then number two, are these stories and big teams and all these things, do they distort Lente Sibonayo when we see these players? And do those things play a bigger role in maybe the way we see some of the guys?
Yeah, Mr. Otsi, let me start by answering the last question. About Itori, there are a lot of stories esizizwayo lapha, like especially mawuzobuka ishow le ku-Super Sports, Super Sports, but is sitting with Stan. Can you still hear me, Mr. Otsi?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Yes, kuney'tori zabo Professor Ngubane, who never died, what the show Umaronza. So if Babu Professor Ngubane was playing for Chiefs, or even the Pirates, but unfortunately he was playing for Mtata Parks, Push Parks. So I'm a fence, Mangago, and the eyes were not glued to team ayidlalela. So that's why singazizwa lezo itori. So that's why nami ngi-observe ukuthi My top 5 will be based on what I've watched and witnessed. Yes. Can you also repeat your first question? Because I'm struggling.
Yeah, you sort of answered it. You sort of answered it. Can a small team player ever become the GOAT? Maybe not smaller, maybe less popular, maybe super sport. Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine, Kolani. I think I'm gonna catch you there. I feel like we're losing each other there. Malume Kutso, Malume Kutso, can you just come in there? The two questions are: can a less fashionable team player be considered a GOAT, or even smaller? And then, how much do the stories and for the lack of a better word, the PR around certain players play into these things? Because, for example, the story told about Ucho Mosono, I'm not saying, I'm saying that maybe, let's say maybe there was another player that did something similar playing for Blackpool, but we don't hear those stories. How much does those things factor into these type of chats that we have about GOATs?
Hey, this is a trick question. How popular is Sundowns?
My Barolo Kutso.
No, but let's be honest, how popular is Sundowns? But the guy is here in the conversation, right? And I found it odd, or barking, hey, before Shapas sends him. I mean, Okoyan is talking about Umlungis Ngubane as if he's watched him. No, they told you about him, so the story is odd. You understand? Lucas Peace Master Muripe, I think he played for Kana King Pichora Kellys. You understand? It's not a team that is popular, but we talk about him today. You understand? We hear about him today. Boy Eusebio, I don't even know which team Eusebio played for. I think he played for Benfica or something. But stories do live on. However, on a smaller scale, there are players who I feel had the same consistency, if not better, than Utembazwane. Utembazwane just had the spike, and I'm using him as an example, just one spike. But there are other players like Kutiko Muis who had a bigger spike that makes their consistency look
Sompo.
But I'm going to give you one which fits your question.
Okay.
That guy has been consistent. That guy is star. That guy is star. And he has done well. Shy free kick. Age come to South Africa shy free kick jangale outlier se shawela. Shy free kick le Grootman. Uma Vocha. Uma Vocha shy free kick Mr. Oti, and he was good for Super Sport. He was good for Ipulukwani City. He just didn't play for the big teams. Yeah, understand. I think if you're looking for someone to fit your question, it would definitely be Uma Vocha. Because that guy, I think he's even better than Luthurian. I could be wrong. I'm open to being corrected. But I think he's even better than Oluthulunyan. You understand? However, his story will not be told as much. However, here's another aspect. Playing old school football, it can also be cruel towards you. We speak of doctor today, right? How many players on the pitch, just that one game where we marveled against Pirates, last Bugelama highlights, on the pitch pen, it was 22 players. You understand? But we speak of one player. It means the story of the 21 other players is diluted and goes by the wayside. There's other players on the bench from our 8 aside, I think. Let's just round it off to 20 per team. So 40 players. From 40 players, we only talk about one player. Do you understand how great you have to be? You can't just you can't just maneuver out of it, because there's like a gazillion players that you played with at the time who we can also compile. We can also compile Amatlim Swabo, but the world chooses you. Okay.
Okay, no. Thank you so much. Guys, that's why the reason why I'm asking this is I feel like sometimes when we speak about football, we sometimes forget that football is also a very emotional thing. I love my team, Kaizer Chiefs. We say it all the time. Guti, when you play for Kaizer Chiefs, whether you are good, you are bad, whether you are a world-changing talent, you will trend. And I feel like there's a lot of teams that fall to the wayside and players that fall to the wayside. For example, SuperSport won 3 leagues in a row. There were Santos league winning teams and things like that. And not to say that winning the league automatically makes you part of the GOAT conversation, but we don't mention those teams a lot. We don't mention, SuperSport that won 3 leagues in a row. We don't speak about them. And there's also that thing, Yoguti, some players, for whatever reason, will get chosen out of the team, but AFCON, for example, AFCON 1996 was not just won by Utokt, right? But does Phil Masinga get the type of shine that he needs to get? Does Abo McWilliams get the shine they need to get? Do other players around them get that shine? And for whatever reason, they don't. And when we come into these conversations, sometimes you listen, you hear it when you speak about Messi and Ronaldo and those guys. Sometimes some things are very important to some people, and then other times other things are more important to others. And then we keep changing. Benny's won a Champions League. How much is the Champions League versus the league? Temba Zwane, for everything we've said, has got an AFL where he was the captain. He's got a Champions League. He might have been a side player, but he's the Champions League. He's got plenty of leagues in his pocket, right? Where does that rate versus some of the other PSL players that maybe have not been as decorated? Do we look at just those things? This is why I want to speak about these type of things. KG, for time's sake, I'm going to just say, give me your top 5, but only explain number 1. Just for time's sake. Welcome, my brother. How are you? KG, are you still with me? Okay, I'll come back to KG. Kumo, are you with me?
Yeah, of course. How's it?
No, Gishab. Kumo, tell me, Kumo. For time's sake, I'm going to ask for your top 5, but only explain your number 1. What does your top 5 look like when we talk about GOATs in SA?
Okay, my number 5 has to be jersey number 10. I even put it so more like on time sake one more, right?
So,
but it's fine. Yeah, I'm in jersey number 10. But had horrible, Banyana Vatlang, had horrible, Makita Atlang, has scorable, Barchi Pongetang, Steve Levalia. That's number 5. That's my number 5. Number 4, I'm gonna say Gift Leremi. Number 3 has to be Lucas Khadebe. Number 2, Benny McCarthy. And as much as, number 1, I'm glad, right, Temba Zwane. Temba Zwane has to be the GOAT. And in fact, the fact that he's being debated whether he's the GOAT of all time says a lot about the guy. He's still playing. So there's still more chance of him winning one more thing that he hasn't won at club level, which is the FIFA Club World Cup. Your GOATs could never, but there's a Sagabo Masupatela High tournament, whatever. I don't know what you guys played for, Makufa Cups and stuff. Those, no, but that's their ghost. One talanya. And the fact that Temba plays for a small team or big team, according to Butu Kuzo, Maraole, Lena Marwa Mizuru again. Temba and Bon, the answer to your question, Temba shines in a small team which being Bafana. It's not a popular team amongst other big teams continentally or even globally. Like, he outshines but Barage Mambola Foster. He outshines player of the cap, in Pesitao. So if that is not gold status, I don't know why. Your gold couldn't even score 1 goal, go AFCON, that you always say he's the good. But I digress. So yeah, those are my top 5, man.
Okay. I'm gonna come back. KG, are you with me? Okay, KG, I'm gonna take you off. Just try come back on. I'll let you in. Tebza, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Hi, my brother. Yeah,
no, what's deeper this thing. Tell me, Tebza, your top 5, and then explain to me why your number 1 is number 1.
Okay. My number 5 would be Jabu Masangu. Let me say Jabu Puli.
Yeah, I was gonna say ukhetha ofing.
No, it would be Jabu Pule. And then number 4 would be Steve. Ne?
Okay.
Legolea. And then number 3 would be Tamba Zwani. And number 2 would be Doctor. Number 1 would be Benny.
Okay.
And then
Why is Benny number 1?
he's our best export.
Okay.
You understand? No one has ever done what he has done overseas. You understand? He's unmatched. You understand? There have been strikers that have went abroad. They've never reached the level that he has reached, and he has proved it. Whether in the league, whether in the Champions League, he has proved it. Even with us here, with Bafana, he has proved it. You understand? He even went to England, played for Blackburn, finished as number 2 on the top on the goal scoring charts. Just behind it, was it Drogba? Ne? Yeah, Drogba.
Yeah, it was behind Drogba and ahead of Cristiano.
Exactly. Playing for Blackburn. It's not easy, my man. It's not easy. So Benny has to be the GOAT by far. By far. No one comes even close. It's by far Benny McKay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. There's a question I wanna ask you guys. Gotcha. How are you, my brother?
I'm good, bro. Good.
Hey, when in this mic of yours, man.
I'm trying to fix it. This thing is. I'll buy another phone.
Okay, let's push. Tell me, what's your top 5 and explain your number 1?
Top 5, Zwane 5, Pule 4, Shoes 3.
Okay.
Doctor. Doctor is my number 2 and Benny is number 1. But I wanna squeeze in Uzuma with Ushuz at the same number 3.
Waropa, but it's fine.
No, because they're equally. In my eyes, they're playing equally about that in that number 3. Yeah? Because I can't drop Doctor and I'm never gonna change McCarthy. McCarthy is the best and there's no debates. Even if I can try to explain to you, the man said before a game he's gonna be the top goal scorer when he was 3 goals behind and went and scored those 3 goals. But nobody's gonna say that. Even Zlatan can never say tomorrow I'm gonna score 3 goals and score 3 goals. So Benny is top there, and the fact that he was able to do that at a different league and go to a different league, and you say all Drogba that side, and all other top strikers of very, very expensive strikers, he did that easily. Yeah, But Uzuma, we need to respect him, guys. Let's never forget Uzuma. Zuma was one of the best and highly rated player in Europe during his time. In Europe, in the world, Zuma was highly rated. Why are we forgetting him, putting him amongst Ozwane Lava?
I'm coming back. Welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Mr. OT. How are you, man?
Hi, man. Mina Gimnandi. I'm listening to everybody state their points. Tell me, what's your top 5 and why is your number 1?
Okay, my top 5. I'll start with Steven Pina. He walked so that Zwane can fly. Okay, number 4, it's John Shoes Musheu. And then number 3, it's Lucas Hadebe. Number 2, Benny McCarthy. And then number 1, it's Dr. 16V Kumalo.
Okay.
Here's my explanation why he is number 1. First of all, I was still very young. I remember very well how you know when you're a star, you influence everybody who plays soccer. We used to beskoba amabhruku esifaka ama-chappies. That was coming from seeing Doctor doing that. Doctor was such an icon. Doctor was such an icon. I remember I was very young when I think it was 96 or something, but I was very young. But I remember in my household at the time how crazy they were, my big brothers and all of that. I didn't understand football that much, but from what they were saying, I knew that this guy probably was a star. I always called myself doctor from then, but that's how influential this guy was. And then I started watching his clips and I understood why he was an icon in the eyes of people who watched him play. Yeah, so I mean, if you've watched, luckily SuperSport has played the 3-2, the famous 3-2 game. I watched the entire game. Doctor just mesmerized Brazil for 45 minutes. And then Clive Barker decided to take him out. And after he took him out, Brazil then went and scored the 3 goals. But Doctor was just something else in that game. So that again made his legend even more bigger to me. So that's why I respect what Doctor stood for. And his passes, man, he had slicky passes. If you saw some of the passes he made, so that's what makes him my number 1.
Okay. Ngathi YouTube yasebenza la man, but it's fine. No, I'm kidding. Let me bring it to Wahib. Wahib, how are you, my brother? Wahib, are you with me?
I'm good, sir.
There we go. Welcome, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm alright.
Tell me,
I'm
your top
in the
5?
debate here.
You have a debate?
No.
What's your top 5? And then explain to me who your number 1 is.
Number 5, I'll choose a goalkeeper.
Okay.
Munib Joseph, number 5.
Okay.
Number 4 would be Lucas. And then number 3, I'll take the magnificent striker, Penny McCarthy, number 3. And then number 2, Dr. Kumalo. And number 1, he's probably very underrated. The bus driver, the everything. The coach, the driver,
the CEO, the kit manager.
The CEO. Yeah, the number 10 is gone. He's retired. Mr. Jomo, I put him number 1. He might not be a European proven player, but that guy was something unique, my friend. He's the reason why I'm putting him number 1 is because what they have done as a player, not his achievements as good as Benny as European, because Benny had it in the early 2000s when there was easy access. But what that guy has done for SA football, is just something you can't pay that guy. You can't pay that guy. That's the reason I put him number 1, not because of his achievements, but of what he has done for the game of football.
Okay, Wahib. Kumo, I want to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 4 things. Then I want you to rank them from least important to most important in terms of the GOAT debate. Ne? We have team accolades, number 1. We have popularity, number 2. So how popular you were, how influential. We have longevity, number 3, and then we have individual awards, number 4. What's the most important what's the least important to the most important for you from those 4?
Popularity has to be the most least important.
Okay.
So like my memory is a bit phased, ne?
So there's team awards, team accolades, individual accolades, and longevity.
Okay, sharp. Number 3 has to be longevity.
Okay.
I mean, like,
you can explain them. You can explain them as you go along.
No. Like, okay. Okay, I get to number 4, get popularity. Again.
Yeah.
As much as people like to vote for Dolile selling, they will never be goats. Number 3, longevity. Ashifa Bukune, they've been playing for a long time, but they're not goats. Ashifa, so number 3, team awards. Definitely team awards has to be I'm going into descending order, ne?
Yeah.
So don't mind the numbers.
Yeah.
Sharp, ne? Yeah, number 2 properly. Number 2 obviously has to be team awards, right? Because if you're a GOAT, like you need to help your team achieve and win everything that's available, like my GOAT has. Number 1 obviously has to be individual awards. Sometimes people can say you aren't the GOAT because if it wasn't for your team, you wouldn't be there, aka Alvarez from Manchester City and Argentina. People saying that he doesn't deserve to be top 3 Ballon d'Or, whatnot, because of his team and stuff. Ne? So yeah, that is what. And also, man, TP, how old is agent? He said he saw Zen Musa play. Where? Bob TV. Like I don't even have a YouTube clip of Zen Musa.
What a cool.
No, but I'm serious.
He'll answer in the comments. I'm gonna come back for another question. Tebza, we've got 4 things: team accolades, popularity, longevity, and then individual numbers and awards. How do you rank them from least important to most important when we're talking about the GOATs?
Yeah, obviously it would be popularity on number 4. Number 3 would be longevity, and then number 2 it would be team trophies, and then number 1 would be your personal performance and accolades. You understand? Because it starts there. In order for you to be recognized, you must first be a standout player. You understand? You must first become a standout player and then lead your team to winning trophies. You understand? Be the main man and help the team win trophies. And then again, you have to take care of your body so that it can sustain you for a longer period. You understand? To be in the game. And then you'll be popular. It starts there. So if you can't do it for yourself, you cannot achieve other things. You will be just like other players that have many trophies, but then they didn't contribute as much for their teams.
So then, if I have maybe 3 out of the 4, let's say I have popularity, longevity, and individual awards. Can I ever be considered the GOAT, or do I need to win something? And does that become a little bit unfair for some of the players who may never play for the big guns?
That question. Look, if you are really that good, believe you me, you are going to be part of the big teams that win trophies. You just have to be. You can't be a great player and go to relegation with a team because now you are so loyal to it. You have to go out there and challenge yourself amongst other best players to be the best. You understand? We get this. We get this about Ronaldo and Messi, but Messi had it easy because he had the Xavis, the Iniestas. Man, it means he was that great that he broke into that team, that great team. Even he wasn't that great, he wasn't going to play. You understand? In order for you to be there and make someone to be on the bench that was trusted before you, it means you are that great. You deserve to be there. You don't just go in that team and put the star player on the bench who are not necessary. It doesn't happen that way. So at some point you will be part of that big team and you will be the star man, winner the big trophies, and then you will be regarded as the GOAT.
Okay. Let me go to Ngocha. 4 things: team accolades, popularity, longevity, and individual awards and things. How do you rank them from least important to most important?
Least important is popularity. Some players aren't popular, but they're very effective in their teams. That's least important. Longevity is important, but some players did not have the luck of having a long career, but they were very impactful in their short careers, and they can be GOATs even if they didn't play for 10 years, as long as they were GOATs during the time that they were playing. And then you said what was the second one?
It's team accolades and individual accolades.
Team accolades will be number 2, individual number 1. Individual is important because how a player plays in a game and how much he affects a game. That's what makes him different, and then can make a team win. I heard someone mentioning Zayn Musa. Zayn Musa was a trickster. He wasn't an effective player. He was a trickster. He used to just do things that entertain the crowd. But in terms of assisting, how dangerous he wasn't dangerous. He was one of those players that's good on the ball. But if he's not, doesn't have the ball around him, he will not make the team play better. He will not score goals. So I'm not hating on him. I saw him play many times. So I know.
Okay.
But a player like Benny McCarthy will be a different one because he can make every team that he played in, he made that team push forward and win. Even when he was fat at Pirates, he made that team tick. But just being there, so
Okay. Let me go to Umtomto. 4 things: team accolades, popularity, longevity, and individual awards. How do you rank them from least important to most important in the GOAT debate?
I think popularity has to be probably maybe the least in terms of rating the a GOAT, but obviously it has big influence even though it's the least. And then in longevity, I would say you need to at least have done it for more than 2-3 years. You can't be a one season wonder like Usaleng and then we call you a GOAT. No, it can't work like that. And then team accolades, they should count. Also, they've got a bigger wage than longevity again. So I would say that's number 2. And then number 1, obviously, your individual brilliance. That should talk for you. I mean, Ujomo, we've heard the stories, but when we've seen the clips, we knew that Jomo was that good. But unfortunately, I did not get to see a lot of Jomo's clips that much, so I can't speak that much about him. But yeah, you know what? So that's the reason why I would rate even Doctor ahead of what they did even go national team. He did it for his club. He won even the NSL Player of the Year, and he won the AFCON, So he did it. Both to national team Nagulo. We're waiting for Tembazwane to win the AFCON. Kumo. We are waiting for Tembazwane to win the AFCON for us now. Then we can start adding him in the GOAT debate.
Okay. Let me go to Wahib. Wahib, we've got team awards, popularity, longevity, and individual brilliance or individual awards. How do you rate those things from least to most important in this GOAT debate?
Popularity would always be lost because you have to put your football first.
Okay.
Football is important if you as a footballer. Popularity would always come after you have produced what you can on the pitch. So I do believe popularity doesn't count. I put it last. And then longevity would also be second because not every player can play 15 years at the highest of football level. Some would play at the lower leagues trying to keep fit. So I take that second. And individual awards, it's also important to put you in the GOAT debate, as we all know. You have to at least show something that you have proved as a player. I've got top goal scorer, most assists. I've proven myself in the best competition in African football. That is where the GOATs are really. So I don't think Johan is making it there.
Okay, but then Kumo, I hear everybody talking about popularity being last, and I hear everybody talking about individual things being first. But for much of the list, I don't think we know the stats of some of the players, or at least have an idea of the stats. I don't know what Dr. Kumalo's individual stats looked like. I know what he looked like when he was playing, and I know that he was popular, but when we're speaking about him, do we know those things? When we speak about certain team accolades as well, are we not also maybe shining the light too much on some players who have the opportunity to win things? Because when I look at this list, man, I want popularity more than anything else here.
By influence, Teva, keep peer pressure from Mabutu Kuto and the likes. Hence why my list is about players that you can still point them out to. They can still kick a ball. You know what I mean? I'm talking about players that I've seen. And even those clips and the noise around Dr. Kumal and whoever, like no one could adequately explain to me why he's better than Zwane. You understand? Understand Zwane doesn't have any medal, but that doesn't mean hore.
I mean, national
Yeah,
team.
Bafana, I mean to say national, but that doesn't mean that it's not the best. I mean, like if you're gonna hang on to that ideologies, that it means already the only coach from SA are the ones who won the AFCON 96. Do you know what I mean? And also, you can also be a goat. Like look at Maradona. Ne? Maradona, like when it came to Napoli, like Napoli was nothing. Like Maradona made Napoli into a household club. Even so, they even retired his jersey, I think, and also gave him his own stadium after him. You see, so a small player can outshine. I'm gonna use the Zwane again. He's outshine. He's shining. He's a shining star in a small team in Kafana. So guys, no matter what you say, I think like if Zwane was part of one of the teams from the ancestors in Soweto, like there will never be a debate like who's better. Now you're gonna throw in the likes of Teko Modise. Teko Modise, like he's great, yes, but he's not Zwane. Zwane dictates. Zwane is star, man. Even the international committee knows of Zwane. And I think the reason why he's not playing overseas is because, age is against him. So, my guy, I don't know, but like you said, like I said, it's peer pressure. And then I wouldn't come here and say it's in Musa, blah blah blah. But I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna have to agree into le Jomo to be able to stand out in a big team like Pirates and to retire your jersey. If I'm gonna give the same respect to Bale and Maradona, I should also be able to give the same respect to Jomo. So yeah, based on his legend, he can be a GOAT, I guess.
But then, do you mind that? Let me try find the name. Do you mind that Siyabonga Nombete? Let's say Swallows was to retire Siyabonga Nombete's number because he did so much. Are we also then going and forgetting maybe other players that maybe have shined at other teams to the level? It's just that we don't know them.
I'm glad you said that. First of all, Belen Omvete is a legend, if we're being honest. But the problem now, like here, there's only fans of three teams. So his fans should also come here and say, yeah, hold on, you're forgetting my player. He's a GOAT because of like football means a lot of different things to different people. You understand? Like, I was influenced by the likes of Benny. Like my parents knew after that song Elea, I did Papa Sal dance 50 kz. My entire wardrobe was only because of Nike. For one, Lucas Khadebe, he influenced my hairstyle. So I'm only gonna speak of how those players made me feel, and obviously, and I'm gonna come here because you know me. Like whenever I believe in something or someone, or even it's not a popular decision, I always go the other way and you say yo this guy, but it's how I view it and it's what I like. So obviously we are not the panel of like the panel who decides who the GOAT is. It's always opinions, and if
you are my
you're gonna
panel
also
for that.
If someone mentioned Zuma, who was a legend for Denmark, and I'm like, if you're gonna mention Zuma, why don't you add in Gezan? I mean, like it's a Danish league, But anyway, but he's still a great player, so they must get their people to advocate for them as well.
It sounds like I know we said the answers and we ranked them, but for me it feels like popularity is speaking more than anything, because even with those other players, for example, the guys who are overseas, I don't know if I know how well Steven Pienaar was playing when he was at Dortmund, for example. I don't know those type of things. But we put them into the debate. Then you have players like, for example, Grobler. Grobler is, I think he's third or fourth highest scoring PSL player of all time, but we don't mention them. You have Siyabonga Nomvete, who's the actual top goal scoring in the PSL era player of all time, but nobody's actually mentioning him. it seems for me, Kari, the popularity is playing a little bit more role in what we're saying here.
No, I don't think so, because remember, in order for you to be regarded as the GOAT, you have to be you have to have a bit of everything. You understand? As we said, even if we said number one should be personal accolades, if you have personal accolades only, and the other one has 50% of personal accolades, 50% of team accolades, he's going to be better than you. You cannot have just one thing and then say, I should be counted there. No, we have a bit of everything there. You understand? So it's not a matter of popularity as such. You understand? Only. No. It also has the other things. You understand? They have those things. And then if you can check my list, I've listed the players that I've seen, and I have full info about. You understand? If we're gonna go back, go Jomo, we would be lying, guys. Let's leave those to our parents. Understand? We only can take our parents' word for it, because now if you put, my father said, if I'm being honest, if they say who's better between Asintreleng and Jomo, I wouldn't choose any. You understand? Because he believes that they were both great players. You understand? So because Ace, if you ask older people, they'll tell you how great Ace was. He was also the greatest. You understand? Even in overseas, they talk about him, but we had to talk about Ace Renati Tagatar and I. Only know John. You understand? But then let's not talk about those players. I don't understand why we mention them now. We should mention the players that we've seen. If Ike Ogoru, this is a question, or why or moto? Not don't tell us about what they've told you. Tell us about what you've seen. You understand? That's what we want.
Okay. Gotcha. For me, when I listen to people speak about goats, whether it be overseas or here, sometimes it feels like it is more popularity than anything else. Like I said, I used to Usiyabonga Nomvete as the example, longevity, individual awards. Maybe not popularity as much, maybe not team accolades, but he's not only up there, he is the top one, for example, in the PSL. Do we say the nice things, but then at the end of the day, the team you play for, what that team wins, whether you are good or not, or whether you're part of that seems to tip the scales a bit more.
Look, when it comes to popularity, you're only popular for the things you do, for the things we've seen you do, for how you change the game, for how you influence the game. You create popularity. Udogsa creates that popularity because of how he changes games and how effective he was during games against any opponent. Whether it was Germany, Brazil, Denmark, any team, big team, he would shine. And that was like the same with any other teams, whether it's playing against Jomo or any other small team. So popularity comes from what the person has done themselves. You can't have one good game and then be popular. You have to be consistent enough. There are some
but could I say before we move on from that, could I say that 3 good games for Kaizer Chiefs is completely different, even in a drought that we've gone through, for example, 8 games. If somebody has 3 good games, that means way more than 10 good games at Supersport.
Yeah, you're right, because the team is popular, not because you are popular. Because of the team being popular, not because of the individual being popular. So it's just the fact that you are also here. Abu, you here on TikTok, you are popular. It doesn't mean that other TikTokers aren't good. But the quality of what you do is what brought us all here. So when we are talking about how good you are, we are talking about what we are seeing every week, what we talk about every week. So popularity plays a certain part, but it's only based on your performance. Because 3 good games at Chiefs or Pirates or Sundowns doesn't make you a better player than a player at Cape Town City.
Okay. No, but also thanks for the compliment. Let me go to Mto. For me, it feels like a lot of the time these things come down to popularity. if you play for Kaizer Chiefs and you're really good, it's different from playing for Amazulu and being really good, for example, or being very, very, very extremely good. How much do those things play into this? Yo, Cameroon. Wait, sorry, Cameroon 3-2. What? Yeah. What a comeback. Anyway, that's how it sounds when you're speaking about these GOATs, that in this list, it just so happens to be a certain number of teams that have been mentioned from this. And maybe there are other players who have done very well elsewhere that aren't making it. Am I correct in saying that?
No, you are correct. Remember, also, football in its nature, I mean, it's about the popularity of the clubs. That's why you like your Arsenals. You wouldn't have went and supported the Bolton Wanderers, you know. So there's someone there who was shining that you saw, and then you ended up falling in love with the Arsenal. So I think it's down to that, yabona, but doesn't mean that you won't find a great player go Santos. I mean, Santos won e-league. Manning Rangers won the first PSL title, and there were players like Elton Mering there. They were hammering goals even though they were only sitting with relegation. You know, all of those guys. So yes, unfortunately, they are not your. When you play for a small team, it's about the hard work and grit most of the time. It's not about the flair. It's not like your Chabupuli where you'll see him work hard, but there's a lot of flair involved. And everyone wants to put about two wop, and you know what I mean. So he becomes iconic because he plays well and he does. There are players who had fans hairstyles, but they didn't play well and they were never iconic in the eyes of fans. So it does count that you are popular, but also that you play well. So it's not just the one on the checklist only that you get judged on. So yeah, for me, you have to be popular and good for you to be put in this debates, GOAT and all of that. So,
Do we how do I ask this? Do we minus points or add points? So, for example, if I do very well at a small team and I get the opportunity to play for Pirates and I do very well at Pirates, do we add points for that? And then on the other end, if I never have to go struggle, well, okay, relatively, never have to go struggle, and I get from development, I go to Kaizer Chiefs, I play well for Kaizer Chiefs, is there a minus there for not for being born with a silver spoon in your mouth?
Not really, because what we've seen is that there are no guarantees in football. Like I'm mentioning, if Santos could win a league, if Manning Rangers could win a league, then there's no guarantee that the Kaizer Chiefs can win a league. You're just getting into a team that is more popular. There's a lot of
Gambia
expectations.
3-3.
Nah, that's good. That's good.
Anyway,
That's what we want. Yeah. So I think yes, it will count against you if you flop more because you're flopping a bigger team. But if you flop in a small team, you just fizzle out. Nobody knows, nobody cares. Yeah, but so that's the other thing. So unfortunately, with a big team, you get too much credit and you get too much. You get bashed too much also. So either way, you're screwed when you play for a bigger team.
Okay. Wahib, is it what's going on? Is it mostly popularity? Because a lot of us, and when I say popularity, I mean it in the sense that playing for Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns is very different to playing for some of the other teams in the league, where you might be having incredible performances, you might be doing well relative to the strength of your team, but you don't get noticed as much. How much does that form part of this? Because we all put popularity at the bottom, but when we look at it, a lot of the players that I hear are only popular for certain teams.
Sorry, brother. I couldn't hear what you said. I didn't hear what you say now.
I was saying, we put popularity at the bottom and we said that popularity is the least most important thing. But when you look at this, these players tend to play for popular teams. Not necessarily the best teams in some cases, not necessarily the most effective, but certainly the most popular. Are we not just making this a popularity thing, and maybe there's other players that are very good at smaller teams that aren't being considered here?
as we all know, it's your individual awards that's going to make you one of the best players and going to put you there at the best teams. Some players are very underrated as well. They are very quality players that everyone looks past. And some of these players came from small teams, very good development, and follow the right steps in the football ladder. So their popularity has grown much more than these ones that is just playing now and then, maybe more inconsistent.
Okay. Okay.
Hopefully.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully, popularity is just the thing that players would get to understand that it's only a phase in football. So and focus more on team effort. That's more important than popularity, team effort.
Okay. No, guys, we are almost done with time. So thank you so much to the second panel. Thank you to the first panel as well for joining me. Thank you guys for your opinions. This was interesting. I wanted to see because, you know, the GOAT conversation for me, sometimes it gets muddied. And when we have these conversations, there's so many things at play here, you know. I have not watched more than 5 games of Dr. Khumalo, right? Where I've watched him was incredible. So you could maybe make the argument that maybe if you choose the best 5 games Sapeni in a Champions League final, and I believe he scored in the Champions League final or the semis, and you take those 5 games and you put them up, and you take Temba's one his best 5 games and you put them up, and you take, maybe they look a lot better. Maybe we underrate some players because we got to see more of them, right? And I also want to speak about the slant of being in popular teams and being popular players, not necessarily by virtue of your play, which could be very good, but some players were really good players at very big teams, and their star gets elevated all the way up. Whereas I could be an extremely very good player at a lesser team, and because I play at the lesser team, you don't see me as much. Like I said, Upele Nomvete is literally the highest scoring player in PSL history, or in the PSL era. Not mentioned much. Bradley Grobler is number 4 on the list. Not mentioned much. Mabuti Kenyeza, believe it or not, is number 3, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is number 3 on the list in terms of the most goals scored in the PSL era, right? Nobody says anything about him. Whereas now you have Shalulile, who's rated so highly, even though I believe Grobler has 1 or 2 more goals than him. And it's only because maybe Shalulile plays for Sundowns right now, right? Who knows? We can't not put those things in. And I feel like sometimes we're unfair on some players because of that. In terms of the legends, I don't want to discount what the legends are like. My dad used to tell me stories about Dr. Khumalo, about Asen Zwilling, or not about Dr. About Chobo, about Asen Zwilling, and all of those guys. He used to break down the different teams and the hoodoo stuff. So I trust him because he had the ability to watch those games, right, and see those games. And maybe the love that they have comes from being able to see all of those games, as we would say about some of the players that we've been able to watch ourselves, right? So I don't want to discount it, but I don't want to jump in and use my father's view of how he saw the players to mask some of the players now. It's actually sad that we can't speak of players from the last 10, 15 years, 20 years even, of the PSL. Very few of those players, or 15, very few of those players have made it onto this list. Like if I look at this list, of the players that I've mentioned, I just wrote down all the players that were mentioned. Mushwe Uzuma McCarthy, Surprise, Mudise Zwane Kune, Pinar Clayton Mpela, Aaron Mukwena, Khatebe Bartlett, Sono, Zain Musa, Mudaule Kwelea Leremi, Pule Josephs. I'd say that the only guys that people actually mentioned a lot here that are maybe young would be maybe Kune, for example, who more than one person spoke about, not necessarily had them on the list. And we can't look at the 15 guys. So our story's been written about what these players do. And also, just to close, guys, stories are very important. It's why I always mention PR. Stories are very important, and how those stories play out are extremely important, right? If we had more stories of the other guys, maybe he was really extremely sick in the morning, but then he needed to go play that game and he arrived at halftime and did something. How many of those stories exist now? How many of the players that we have now have those stories? You know, and you have to believe that those things play a big role. But anyway, guys, it looks like Cameroon might have secured themselves a space by coming back to beat Gambia 3-2 from a 2-1 down place. They beat Gambia at 3-2, so it seems like they're going through. When we look at the other game, let me just make sure. Where's the other game? Did they change it? I believe Senegal won their game, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow, we're going to be watching Bafana Bafana at 7 p.m. If you have not followed, please follow. And let's get behind the boys. We'll be doing a live watch-along tomorrow. Join me, and let's have more conversations like these. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock. My codes. My list is Shoes at number 5, Lucas Katebe at number 4, Benny at number 3. I actually have Doctor at number 2, out of just pure love. I'm a pure love person. And then Tembazwan at number 1. I have Tembazwan at number 1 because at his current career where he is right now, there's not too many of the ghosts that have done what he's done. Yes, the AFCON are incredible, but in terms of domestically and how important he is to that Sundowns team, I would put him there because at this current place of his career, obviously he'll retire at some point. I don't know how many players have won as many leagues, been instrumental there. There's the AFLs now, consistently in the Champions League in the deep runs, even though they get knocked out, maybe semi-finals, finals. I would give it to Tembazwane, to be honest with you. I know Abom Doggies did well. I don't think Doggies won that many leagues. I know that they won the AFCON, for example, and outside of popularity, how do they stack up next to Zwane? I don't know. But anyway, guys, actually, I'm lying. I'd actually take Benny and take him to number 1, Zwane number 2, because Benny has done it here, has done it there, has done it everywhere. Top goal scorer for Bafana Bafana, won the treble with Pirates, won the Champions League that side, was top goal scorer in one of the toughest leagues in the world. So actually, Benny McCarthy is my number 1, Tembazwane is my number 2, Dr. Kumalo is my number 3, Lucas Katebe is my number 4, Shoes Bushwewu is my number 5, just because I love Shoes. I'm gonna say it straight up. Me, I love the Shoes. Shoes was one of my favorite players. That's why he makes it onto here. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna put it. But guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys then tomorrow, 7 o'clock.